Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are joining the Mars2 project as it has just made its entrance into Mars SOI, and we have a small correction to make. Okay, good. RCS and everything like that is still on. I guess I left it on for the duration, and I think we should be draining from all of these radial tanks, although we'll probably need to start with the first one. Okay, good. We are pulling from that tank. That's fine with me, so long as we're not pulling... okay, we did pull a little bit from that one. That was probably from before I had this mass package of radial tanks unlocked. We need to just make a very small correction or to avoid smashing into Mars full force. So we'll just use these thrusters here. We've just made, I don't know, we just entered the SOI. Where did Mars go? I was just looking at it. Oh well. So we're going to raise our periapsis to around 100 kilometers or so. Now, I'm not going to use an ignition for this. Really, the node is set for 6 hours from now. We're doing it now because it's just a little bit more efficient. We probably won't need to burn all 30 or so meters per second to get where we need to be. Although I am going to use a little bit of Kraken bait to do this a little faster. No big deal. The fun part is going to be setting up the propulsive capture maneuver, as well as getting it to jettison all of these radial tanks in the correct sequence, which I set up through the staging list here. So hopefully I can just program into Flight Computer stage. It's just a matter of trying to get the timing correct so that a stage is fully, or a tank is fully empty before we ditch it. That'll be the fun part. Oh, we are burning from our radial tanks. That's fun. So I guess I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking with that. Fun times. Actually, I don't know if I care to be that gloriously efficient with it. Or is that's the last tank in our series. Okay, yeah, so that should be the one that empties first. The rest of these tanks should very well be mostly full. And oh, I completely stopped paying attention. And now we're at 300 some odd kilometers. Oops. What? Yeah, I don't want to come in that high. I just don't. So we have to turn around. And yeah, see, there's 8 point some odd meters per second left here. Because we did the maneuver early, and it saved us that much fuel that I now get to re-spend getting this down to where I want it. So look at me talking too much and not just flying the damn spacecraft. So many apologies for this large chunk of sped up video, but the next half hour of this video would have been just me being really indecisive about exactly how I was going to approach this problem. We don't have enough fuel to do a propulsive only capture, and we are far too heavy and coming in far too fast to do a strictly aero brake capture. And a good chunk of this sped up footage is just me mulling back and forth between which approach I wanted to take for this orbital insertion. In the end, though, I decided that I was going to do a combination of both. So this is me lowering the periapsis quite significantly, and then a little fuel balancing. But what we're going to do is burn retrograde as we approach Mars, spin the spacecraft around, use the heat shield to aero brake quite a bit, and then as we leave the atmosphere, we're going to spin around again, relight the engine, and try to use that to clean up our orbital insertion. And now back to old me as he tries desperately to execute this. Alright, we're coming up on ignition time here in just a bit. Also need to watch this for the 3-minute 40-second mark. About 30 seconds until burn. And God, once the burn starts, that's going to get even worse. Oh boy. They're going to happen within like seconds of each other. Alright, I'm ullaging the engine. 3, 2, 1. Alright, ignition. We can just go ahead and light it a few seconds early. Stage again. Why is that stage not showing up? Did it not take? Stage. Oh god, they're down here. Crap, I staged 2 of them in really close succession to one another. Crap. That might mess things up a bit. I'm going to try to fire straight into the retrograde vector and preserve our periapsis. Oh, that's making it fall. I don't want it to fall too much. I actually want it to climb. I want to shoot for about 42. Okay, good. Those 2 tanks are burning at a similar rate. So now I need to deal with the tank staging. So that's... crap. And there goes the first stage, tanks deployed. Alright. What? Dang it, I forgot to lock it. Yeah, we're gonna go with this one. Lock. And that would be this one. Also lock. Alt in. Oh boy. So I guess I can just try to burn some fuel a little faster by holding the H key. 37. Dang it. I have dropped our periapsis too much. And we need to stage again. I'm going to be really mad if I miscount these stagings. I've got 3 here. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's all of them. I just hope I put in enough delay. 4 seconds of it, and if I get 4 seconds there, if I can just keep this up. All right, those will go in 1 minute and 20. Those will go in 2:36. 42. So I've got to kill like 1 minute of fuel. Crap. I think I really screwed the pooch on this. 36 kilometers. We need to raise that a bit. Whoa, seems like we're getting a little wiggle here. Lock. Come on. In. Alright, lay on them thrusters. Down to 39. Oh boy. Alright, well, we're down to 9.5 meters per second. Do it, man. Come on. There's 42. Let's re-angle. This is how you do this with multiple fingers. God, I cannot believe I staged twice. Well, the good news is we may only be ditching excess Airzine 50 and not N2O. Now we're down to 40 kilometers. Let's reset. There's our camera change, which means we are probably very close to things here. Okay. Yeah, our shutdown sequence has occurred. 9.2 kilometers per second. Okay, well, as of now, we are no longer the fastest thing hitting the Mars atmosphere. There go those tanks. So, God, please tell me we only have, 2 left. How much fuel are we going to lose? Significant amounts of fuel. Damn it. That makes me a little sad. But a minute 8 seconds on these tanks and a minute 30 until they're jettisoned, so I can focus now on just keeping the periapsis around where I would like it, and it is falling currently. I would like it around 42, if you'd please, sir. As soon as we've burned this tank dry, we will let it jettison and shut down the engine, and then hope for the best. Alright, come on. We're shooting for 42. 24 seconds of burn remaining. We're going to aim just a little higher, give ourselves some wiggle room here. That should be good. Alright, shut down. Alright, and let's get ourselves re-angled here to prograde. We are a whole lot lighter now. And I think we can actually burn off 3.8 kilometers per second here in the atmosphere. So here's hoping, right? Now, one last small measure I'm going to take here is to move fuel as far forward as possible in hopes of it helping us keep some stability. We now have our first official look at the lander itself. There's a little bug. This was kind of the old design philosophy, just reinterpreted a little bit. I've added some air brakes. It does still have a parachute, a full complement or a half complement of scientific instruments. It has just the tiny little guys, no goo container or anything that was excessively heavy. So it's supposed to be light. It's got 4 1 kilonewton thrusters firing Airzine and N2O. They are tuned up to about 1.8 kilonewtons per engine, which doesn't give it a very significant thrust to weight ratio, but I'm hoping that in combination with the drag produced by the air brakes will help keep it stable and downside facing into the wind. And then some parachutes, which I will, well, once we hit orbit, I'll start worrying about those things. For right now, we have an Aero capture to be concerned with. So, boy, I hope 42 isn't too low. We do have time to adjust it, though. Let's check the map. Oh boy, what happened? Oh, come on. There we go. Alright, and that 3.8 or so kilometers per second left on our node gets us a really, really eccentric orbit, which, I mean, even if we get that, we'll be in pretty good shape because we can just aero brake for several passes until we get there. One last minute correction, just lowering our periapsis. Let's keep our angle in. Oh boy. My palms are so sweaty. Nothing left to do now except just go for it, right? Oh. While I'm thinking about it, let's pump as much fuel forward as we can. Keep our weight balance. Put away flight computer. I don't know why I got that back out. And I guess before we hit that thicker part, we actually get some braking. I'm going to ride just the outside edge of that prograde vector and hope that the aerodynamic forces will bounce up and push us down. Like we should see, yeah, our periapsis start to lower a bit. That's fine. And the minute we start to see heating effects, we'll have to correct that. Alright, there they are. Let's get angled in. Don't want to chance burning anything off, although I think we've got plenty of room around the heat shield here. Oh, when I went to map view, that stupid node reset itself. Went at like 3.8 or so. Oh man, we're already almost down to our periapsis. Still going 8 kilometers a second. Alright, let's see if we can't divert some of this down a bit. 40.7, 40.6. Wow, 4 Gs. Alright, we've passed periapsis. We are now climbing again. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Slow down, little dude. It is an insanely nice fireball, though. That is quite a view, I have to say. Alright, I need to pay attention. I'm sorry. I can't be looking for eye candy currently. Yeah, we are nowhere near captured. So I'm going to just let this heating effect stop, and then we're going to do an about face and fire our engine. I mean, I know the sooner the better, but I feel like it's probably still really dangerous to turn around at this altitude. Just a hunch. Alright, let's go for it. Whoa, yeah, aerodynamic forces tossing us around a bit. Okay, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Alright, and now we can move fuel from those maneuvering thrusters into the main tank. Ah, here it is. There's the camera switch. We are captured. Alright, we're just going to let this get down to something reasonable. We're still very much in the millions. We don't need to burn the fuel. We can now aero capture. Oh. Whoo, buddy. Oh, we made it. All right, let's lock that so we're not just going crazy with it. Whew. Oh, tragedy averted. And yeah, we're keeping signal bouncing through a satellite, bouncing through the Air 1 probe, and that is a really high apogee. 37 million. We'll be there in 13 hours, and when we get there, I'm probably going to adjust that out to 40, and then we'll make a braking pass. So I think we can go ahead and warp to our boot sequence. I'm going to warp us a little bit further. There's nothing very interesting about setting a sequence and trying to decide very desperately on what periapsis you want to aero brake with, although the scenery is quite nice. But we'll rejoin old me as we're about to make this maneuver. Nope, we can tuck flight computer or our Delta V monitor away. Sorry. Extend. Yeah, what the hell? Looks like we it did not give us the command for that. Retract panels. Alright. I think 50 is still too low. Is basically what this boils down to. I really don't know what too low or too high looks like for this, but I know that we're basically just a bunch of empty fuel tanks and a very lightweight lander. And just kind of a heavy heat shield. I think next pass we could certainly try for a landing. What do you think? Maybe 55? Yeah, let's do 55. 55 seems like a good number, right? Almost there. Alright, 55. Alright, nothing to do now except ride it in. Hope for the best. Ka-thunk. There's atmosphere. Oh, our solar panel hasn't retracted yet. Yeah. That's marginal at best. The delay plus signal is 1 hour and 20 minutes. Oh, I guess I forgot to reset that, huh? Good for me. Oops. 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 Oh, no connection, so I can't do a radio in. Oh, we're in the atmosphere already. Holy crap, that was fast. Oh, I guess I came out of time warp when I hit the atmosphere, huh? Yeah. Clouds disappear. Quite suddenly. Alright, good, our apoapsis is starting to fall. And our time to periapsis is not growing, which is what we need to look out for. That's how we know we've deorbited. If your time to periapsis starts climbing away from you. But it looks like it's counting down in real time. I mean, if it's a couple of tenths of a second slower, that's not a big deal. Okay, good. I can try to keep the periapsis raised with a little bit of thruster bumping here. Alright, 82, 81 kilometers altitude, 4.5 kilometers per second. I think really we only need to shed about, I don't know, 500 to 700 meters per second to get this altitude down to where we would like it to be. And where we'd like it to be is, I mean, no greater than 1 million, but certainly higher than the atmosphere would be the most ideal. Yeah, that's having less and less effectiveness. 71 kilometers altitude, 4.55 kilometers per second. Current apoapsis is at 29 million. Looks like our time to periapsis is still counting down in real time, so I'm just going to let the periapsis fall a bit. Well, we haven't lost that solar panel. That's good. Man, I can't believe this thing got here in 126 days. Although it was going at murder fast. Alright, apoapsis has fallen to 22 million. Alright. We are having an effect on our periapsis. It is being pushed away from us just a bit. Not a problem. We're at 58 kilometers. Our current periapsis is about 53. It'll be 53.5. Current apoapsis has fallen to 17 million. We've shed half of it. It's no small feat for such little atmosphere. I'm actually wondering if we're going to deorbit at this altitude. So let's use some thruster power and see if we can't keep that periapsis high. Nope, it has begun falling again. We are about 34 seconds out, but that's by that countdown timer. I think that's going for about a second every 2 to 3 seconds. So crap, that puts us a minute away. That's a whole other minute of this. This might be deorbiting. So maybe we should just burn into it and up. That has slowed it significantly. Yeah, that is slowing our rate of descent. Alright. Well, whoa. What are you doing, man? Chill out. You're good. I guess wind force is acting on it here. Alright. And we're climbing. Apoapsis altitude is 5.9 million. Surface speed 4.06 kilometers per second. Not bad. I feel pretty confident from here that if we need to bump the thrusters a little bit to keep that apoapsis from going inside the atmosphere, we can certainly do that. We came down from a 1-day orbit to a 4-hour orbit, or a 3.5-hour orbit roughly. Not bad. Still fairly eccentric. $3.5 now million on our apoapsis. We're still shedding speed like crazy. Altitude has only climbed to 55 kilometers. Very interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to give it a couple of bumps on the thruster here, see if we can't get out of this atmosphere just a little bit faster. I know it's not enough to overcome the force of drag currently, but I feel like every little bit helps. Nope. Alright, and we've picked up a little roll that I did not. We're down to 2.4 million. We're still at 57 kilometers altitude. Oops, and I ran those thrusters out of fuel. Good for me. In. We need all the thruster we can get currently. And I guess we can go ahead and ditch the heat shield. Once we're clear here. Pushing that extra weight isn't going to do us any good. Alright, 1.9 million. We're still only at 60 kilometers altitude. I'd really like it if I could ullage that engine, but our deceleration due to drag is still overpowering the oomph of those thrusters. The fuel is still being nudged forward in the tank. That's a problem. Alright, come on. 62 kilometers. You can do it. Yeah, we're still bleeding speed pretty rapidly. Although our rate of climb is increasing. Down to 1.65 million, and the rate at which our apoapsis is falling has started to tide off quite a bit. We're out of the meat, I'm doing air quotes, of the atmosphere. So that rate is just going to continue to decrease. We might get to sub 1 million. I am not going to attempt for another pass, because if you'll notice, the solar panel is still here. Meaning, 1, we don't need the heat shield. 2, we don't need to make another braking pass. We are very well within orbit. That'll probably, the apoapsis figure will continue to fall. Man, this is being stuttery as hell. That was interesting. Yeah, and considering our periapsis speed will be right around 4 kilometers per second or so, I'd say that's safe for a good landing run. I mean, if we can bring it down right in this area, which I think we can do just with drag alone, we're looking pretty good. I'm just going to let that periapsis continue to fall. And we're up to 73 kilometers. Not bad, not bad. I probably didn't need to use those thrusters at all, really. So since we have connection again, our boot sequence will run. I will go ahead and fire up the entirety of the spacecraft. We will separate the lander. We will ditch the heat shield. And we'll get things prepped up and ready to go. Man, we may actually get down to sub 1 million. We're still at 77 kilometers. That is still falling. That's awesome. I think we're in pretty good shape here. That's a damn miracle. So yeah, I guess even if we could make contact with that satellite, that has contact with nothing. Yep. Oh well. We're gonna do it. It'll be fine. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Let's go ahead and throw in some Kraken bait. Why not? 85 kilometers. We're down to 1.1 million. I don't think we're going to get down to 1.0. No big deal, man. I'm really happy with this. That worked out really, really well. Super excited about how well this is shaping up. I would just like to get a connection so that we can start dealing with the rest of our mission here. Not too worried about that 46 kilometer periapsis. I think that this lander is small enough, light enough, and hopefully those air brakes will be effective enough to where we can get lots of good time flying through the atmosphere laterally to slow us the hell down. Alright, we've passed the 120 mark. Oh, atmosphere is 125, isn't it? Waka waka. Thunk. There it is, 125. 1.135 million is our current apoapsis. And let's just go ahead and get ourselves a connection. Although I think our boot sequence will be happening probably about halfway through the orbit, actually. I did not expect to get this effective with our braking. Yep, there's our boot sequence, so we should be able to establish our own connection just as soon as we are clear of the planet. But this episode has dragged on long enough, so I think I'll get to that all on my own. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out, and I'll see all of you tomorrow. Until then, see you later.